All right, guys, welcome to this tutorial video on how to create a Google Form worksheet, quiz, or test, right? So we're starting out here in Google Drive, and what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hit New, and you're going to want to go down to More and hit Google Forms. Now, I already have a Google Form open over here, right? And so I'm just going to move this on over and split screen it like that, right? And so what I love to use Google Docs for, or rather Google Forms for, is to create online worksheets that grade themselves. It's a really easy tool, and it's really simple to use, right? And so what I typically like to start out with is an old worksheet that I have lying around. These are from Newsela. You can download them. They have all sorts of different reading levels for English language learners, all sorts of resources, and they have a huge library of social studies content, right? And so this one's on the Eisenhower Doctrine. I have the title already here, right? And what we're gonna wanna do in our Google form before we actually start working with the worksheet is to come over here and work on our settings, right? So typically when you have your settings open, it's going to look like this. The only thing that's going to be checked is restrict users to School District Palm Beach County. If you work for a different county, it might look different. But for all Palm Beach County teachers, it's going to look like this. You're going to want to keep that selected because then students have to be signed into their account in order to do their homework, which is good. Another thing you're going to want to collect here is their email address, right? And so this is going to be handy, and I'll talk about this more when I talk about putting in student numbers, right? But you want to make sure you collect their email addresses. That way you can make sure that it's your student doing their work, right? Another thing that's optional is you might want to hit limit to one response, right? I typically don't do this because I'll have students at various different levels who might need to redo it over and over again in order to get the content. But for something like a quiz or a test, definitely want to limit it to one response. You don't want kids taking it over and over again until they magically get 100% the 15th time they've taken it, right? So once we're done in general settings, we're going to want to head over to quizzes, right? And so this is going to be disabled, right? I was toying around with this before I started the video, right? But you are going to want to make this a quiz, right? Even if it's a worksheet and it's not necessarily a quiz, you're going to want to hit make a quiz, right? And this allows you to assign point values to your questions and also allows it to grade it with the answer key, right? And so you're going to want to scroll down a little bit, right? And normally all three of these are selected, right? It'll look like this when you start up a new Google form, right? What I always do is I immediately take off correct answers, right? Whether it's a worksheet or a quiz, I always take off correct answers because these kids will get on their phones, they'll get on Snapchat, they'll put it on their Instagram story, they'll let everybody know what the right answers are, and then miraculously, you know, 2 or 3 kids will get a couple questions wrong the first time, and then suddenly the whole class is getting 100%, right? So I always turn off correct answers. That way they can't just share out the answer key to everybody, right? If you're doing a test or a quiz, I might recommend taking off missed questions as well, right? It depends on your kids. You know your kids better than I do, right? If they are trustworthy kids and they are gonna actually hunker down and study the material and try to take the quiz again, then by all means, you know, you can let them know what questions they missed. Otherwise, I'd take it off because again, all it takes is one kid saying, well, I guessed A on number 1 and A was wrong. So they'll go ahead and share that out to the class. And before you know it, everybody's got 100% on the little quiz. So once we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and save, right? And now it's time to actually input questions, right? And so the first question is here. It's an untitled question, right? And you'll notice that it starts out multiple choice here, right? And you just click on it to edit it. And what I usually like to write first is name, just like the heading on a paper. And so you'll see that that multiple choice question switched to short response, short answer. Why? Because Google is awesome like that and auto detects that, you know, you're not going to have multiple choice for, you know, 150 kids different names, right? They'll write in their name here. Most of the time they'll write their nickname. It's just good to match a name with an email. Not that I think you know everybody's email, but It's just good to have, just like the heading on any paper, right? And I make this a required question, so that way they have to answer it, right? You'll notice down here in the bottom left-hand corner, there's an answer key there. I don't assign any points because there's no right or wrong answer. All the kids have different names. Don't, hurt yourself too much for this one, right? We're now going to add another question, right? And there's all sorts of little tools and features. You can add YouTube videos, you can add photos, you can add little text paragraphs and stuff in there. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to go up here and add another question, right? And the second question I usually like to ask is period number, right? And so if you are like me, and last year I had 5 different US history classes, keeping everybody sorted out can be tricky, right? And so I like to use the drop-down menu feature for this, right? So over here where it says short answer, you can go to multiple choice, check boxes, paragraphs, all different types of question types, linear scale if you're doing like survey, right? But we're going to go down to drop-down menu, right? And I'm only going to give them 2 options. Now, this is the Eisenhower Doctrine, right, worksheet. So this is my US history class. I only have 2 US history classes this year, right? So I'm going to put in period 4 US history, and I'm going to put in period 7 US history, right? And I'm also going to make this a required question, right? And so then when the students see it, they'll only see 2 options there, right? If you have more classes, you just put in whatever classes you have, right? I like to do this because it's going to make your life easier if you're trying to figure out how many kids from each class. You can just sort it by period number. It's really nice. And I'll do a whole separate video on how to use the spreadsheets that come out of these Google Forms once the kids actually do the work and show the responses, right? So the next question we're going to add is sort of the last of the 3 heading questions. And this one is the important one, right? This one is more important than name, and that would be student number, right? And so this is going to help you in your Google form or your Google spreadsheet when you go to upload it into SIS or whatever grading software you use, right? And so I like to put in parentheses, do not include the S, because a lot of the kids have been trained for years and years to include the S in their student number, and you don't want to do that. You're going to have to delete all those little S's in the spreadsheet because otherwise SIS doesn't understand it, right? And so the student will be able to write in their student number in there, and that will make life a lot easier in my next video on how to upload a spreadsheet into SIS, all right? So that's also a required question. Now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. We're getting down to the good stuff, right? How to put in questions. Where do I get questions from? That's a very good question I just asked myself, right? So we're going to go ahead and go split screen here, right? So I love these old worksheets that I got from Newsella. Any worksheet that you use or any reading that you want to pair up, you just send them the PDF and then you have them fill out the Google Sheet. You can put them both on Google Classroom at the same time. Most of you guys know how to post all that stuff to Google Classroom, so I'm not going to bore you with the specifics, right? But we're going to scroll on down, and oh, look, they have multiple choice questions. Ooh, the first one's a doozy because it has a sentence from an article. Ooh, how do we do that? Well, it's funny you ask. So we're going to go down here. So this little sidebar is now on the bottom if you do split screen, but let's open back up so that way I don't confuse anybody, right? You're going to want to add title and description. Ooh, drag it up above your first question, right? So this is what I typically like to do when there's a little paragraph here, right? So right here where it says read the sentence from the article, you'll just copy that and paste that. And then the body of that sentence, that big old chunky little paragraph looking sentence there, run-on sentence maybe, you're going to go ahead and paste that in the description, right? And so now students know that they have to read this sentence from the article and use it to answer question number 1, right? So we put in a little number 1 there, right? And we go ahead and we copy our question from the worksheet, right? What does the adjective radical convey in this sentence, right? And so we're going to go ahead and just copy and paste the answers, answer choices, boop, 1, Not selecting for some reason. There we go. 2, 3. Oh, and for those of you who don't know how I'm magically copying and pasting without hitting the right click button, if you just hit Control C for copy and Control V for paste, it's a fun little shortcut. Most people know it, but for those who are technologically challenged, it's a fun little shortcut. You just hit Control and C to copy, Control and V to paste, right? And so I scrolled down a little bit here on our Newsella worksheet, and I have the answer key right here, right? And our answer key is A for number 1, right? So we're going to go ahead and select A in our answer key section, and we are done. But if you're like me, you like to assign some points. I'm going to go ahead and come up here on the left and assign 5 points for this question, right? So there we have it. We have a question. It has a correct answer now, and we make it required. So now we have the workings of a Google form, right? And you just copy and paste all your questions and answers, and that's how you go ahead and do that, right? Let's go ahead and preview what it'll look like to our students, right? So here we go, the Eisenhower Doctrine. You got your name, select period number. Let's put in name, Mr. G, right? Period number 4. My student number, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I know, so original. It's me, right? And here's that little sentence that I have to read. What's the term radical mean? Oh, it means this, a sense of extremism regarding nationalist views. Boom. Hit submit. And as a student, I'm done, right? There's my score, right? This is what it looks like for a student. So let's jump back over to where we were working on this. There's all sorts of little things that you can customize here. You can customize your themes by different colors. You can choose purple, blue, orange, red, whatever you want. You can also add images to your headers. All these little things are just to spice up the design of your Google form. I usually like to do a different color for each assignment, so that way the students don't get them confused, right? Sometimes I'll add an image so that way they're like, oh yeah, I did the one with Eisenhower on it. I didn't do the one with North Korea on it, let's say, right? But that's the basics. That's how you do a Google form. And next time I'm going to show you how to use the responses here, how to create a spreadsheet, and how to really make the most out of Google Forms. Thanks for watching. Bye.